Hello and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. My name is Joris and today I am here with a new series about investing in Europe with European ETFs. And this is the first part of the edition of 2025. So in total there are going to be 8 parts. And the first one is going to cover the ETFs that invest in the MSCI Europe Index. So I'm only going to discuss European ETFs that invest in Europe. And this means that I found 41 ETFs that invest in European companies and that are based in Europe. So they are all UCITS ETFs and they all distribute a dividend because my channel it's about dividend investing. So that's normal that I then only try to discuss ETFs that distribute a dividend. And as you know, I don't like swap-based ETFs, so they are all not synthetically replicated ETFs. After this series, if you know any other European-based ETF that I missed, please put it in the comments down below, and I promise you next year I will also discuss that ETF for sure when it meets the rules of above and when I truly missed it. Excuse me for that. The MSCI Europe is the most used diversified index, and then you also have the Eurostoxx 50 index that is used a lot, but that is more concentrated, of course, because there you only have around 50 companies, sometimes 51. In the MSCI Europe index, you have around 400 companies, so that's more diversified. And I'm going to discuss the MSCI Europe ETFs first, and then the second video is going to retake the video that I made with the Eurostoxx 50 and the Stocks Europe 50 ETFs that I made about half a year ago. And then the rest of the ETFs, of the videos that I'm going to make, is going to be about the ETFs that have a more diverse array of indexes that they track. So it's really difficult to compare them, but I'm always going to mention the total expense ratio, their performance, and their dividend yield. And I try to group them as good as possible in 6 videos that I'm going to share with you later on. And all these videos are being recorded in the weekend after the Friday, the 11th of July of 2025. So all the data is from the end of that trading day. Just so you know, it's going to be on all videos this point, and this slide is always going to be there. So that's just a reminder. So the MSCI Europe Index, the top 10 companies, they comprise SAP, ASML, Nestlé, Roche Holding, AstraZeneca, Novo Nordisk, Novartis, HSBC, Shell, and Siemens. And when you look at the countries, you see that the United Kingdom makes up 20.66%, France 15.39%, Germany 15.38%, Switzerland 14.65%, the Netherlands make up 7.78%, and then you have the rest. And when you look at the industries, so the financials make up 21.30% of this index, the industrials 18.15%, the consumer staples 10.63%, healthcare sector, yeah, you see here a lot of them, Roche, AstraZeneca, Novo Nordisk and Novartis, 10.63%, and then you 10.41%, the healthcare sector, and then consumer discretionary 8.62%. So the first ETF, it's the HMEU HSBC MSCI Europe UCITS ETF. It has a total expense ratio of 0.10%. The easing code, you will always find it here. So if you want to find it, because you always have those different tickers in Europe, you know the deal here in Europe. So the easing code is the way to go here in Europe. You can buy one share for 19 euros on the SIX stock exchange. Also in US dollar, you can buy it for 21.21 US dollar. The currency of the dividend is paid out in euro. There is only one ETF that pays out the dividend in US dollar, and that's going to be in one of the latest videos of this series that I'm going to mention that one. It's a hedged one, so that's for later in the series. You have 402 holdings in this ETF, and there is 279 million invested into this ETF. Fully replicated type. It's been around since the 1st of June of 2010, and in the past year it is up 8.20%, the past 3 years it is up 43.50%, and the past 5 years it is up almost 73%. It pays out 2 dividends per year in February and in August, and the dividend yield is 2.68%. So here you can see the dividend payments that it made in the past year. And then we can go to the next ETF, and that is IMEU. So the iShares Core MSCI Europe UCITS ETF EUR distribution. The total expense ratio here is 0.12%, and you can buy one share for 32.09 Swiss francs on the SIX stock exchange, and the dividend is being paid out in euro. So the holdings, there are 400 holdings in this ETF, and there is 9 billion, almost 9.1 billion invested in this ETF. It's a sampling ETF, and it's been around since the 6th of July of 2007. In the past year, it is up 8.03%. The past 3 years, it is up a little bit over 43%, and the past 5 years, it is up 72.50%, a little bit higher, but. And it pays out quarterly dividends in February, May, August, and November, and the dividend yield is 2.65%. So you see, all the MSCI index ETFs have more or less the same dividend yield and also the same yields over the first performances over the 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. And here you have quarterly payments, and of course, yeah, in February it's the lowest payout, but for the rest they are nicely distributed. Then you have the 10AI or CED2. That is only available, that's not available on the SIX stock exchange, the Amundi Index MSCI Europe UCITS ETF, with a total expense ratio of 0.12%. It used to be 0.15%, so Amundi really made an effort here and lowered the total expense ratio. So that's really nice of Amundi. The currency on the Xetra stock exchange is the euro, and you can buy one share for 70.17 euros. There are 410 holdings in this ETF, and there is 557 million invested into this ETF. It's a fully replicated type, and the past year it is up 8.04%, the past 3 years it is up 43% and a bit, and the past 5 years it is up 72 and a bit percent. It pays out one dividend per year. That's really annoying on the Amundi side. So always only one dividend per year, and it is either in November or December with a dividend yield of 2.55%. And last year in December they paid out 1.79 euros. Then you have the UBS MSCI Europe ETF, the EUREUA, and that one has a total expense ratio of 0.06% now. It used to be 0.10%, but UBS lowered the total expense ratios from quite a few ETFs in the past year. So UBS really showed their good heart towards the investors here in Switzerland, and they dropped down the total expense ratio of, I think, over 40 in ETFs in total. So that was really nice of them. If you know the number, let it know in the comments down below. You can buy one share on the SIX for 91.60 euros, and you also have the Swiss ETF that you can buy for 85.50 Swiss francs, and that's been around since the 27th of September of 2024. So there are 396 holdings in this ETF, and there is 495 million invested into this fully replicated ETF. And that is quite an increase compared to the last time that I made this video with the MSCI ETFs. So it's really good that they lowered the total expense ratio, and this shows that lowering the total expense ratio really gets you an increase in funds being invested into your ETFs. It's been around since the 5th of October of 2009, and the past year it is up 8.10%, the past 3 years it is up 43.25%, and the past 5 years it is up a little bit over 72%. It has a dividend yield of 2.56%, and it pays out half yearly in February and August, like almost all ETFs from UBS. And yeah, here you can see that in February the dividend is considerably lower than in August, but you know how that comes, because here in Europe you have a lot of companies that pay out in March, April and May, so that's why in August they can pay out a bigger dividend. And then the last ETF of this video, the EL42 from Deka, MSCI Europe UCITS ETF, and look at that total expense ratio, 0.30%. So it's a Germany-based ETF with ISIN code starting with DE, and you can buy one share on the Xetra for 18.50 euros. There are 398 holdings into this ETF, and there is almost 1.2 billion invested into this ETF. And that's for me hard to understand, but I think a lot of people invest their pension money in this kind of funds with Deka. But actually, total expense ratio of 0.30 compared to all the other ETFs that I mentioned in this video, that's quite expensive. So if you just start investing, try to shy away from the Deka ETFs. It's been around since the 9th of June of 2009, and in the past year it is up 7.75%, in the past 3 years it is up a little bit over 42%, and in the past 5 years it is up almost 70.50%. It pays out quarterly dividends, and the dividend yield is 2.54%. And these are the dividend payments that it made in the past year. So yeah, once again, June, the highest payout. That's the normal thing here in Europe. So this is the overview. When you look at it, all ETFs, HMEU, IMEU, 10AI, EUREUA from UBS, they are all more or less comparable. And then you have the Deka ETF with a total expense ratio of 0.30, and you see that that weighs on the performance of this fund. So the year performance is lower than compared to the other four. Also the 3-year performance is lower than the other four, and also the 5-year performance. So it really comes down to the higher total expense ratio, and either Deka needs to lower their total expense ratio, and otherwise, yeah, you know what you need to do. And with that being said, I thank you for watching to this first part of this series. Please consider subscribing if you like this kind of content. Hit that like button as well. It helps out the channel enormously. And with that being said, thank you for watching to this one, and see you in the next one on my YouTube channel. Bye.